Greetings. I am back in the game after a long time. I think the last promotional video I made was back in March 2024. So it's been more than a year now. So I'm excited to be back and to continue promoting my two books, John Pierce, published in 2020, and Subjective Bliss, published in 2022. Now, obviously the purpose of making these videos is to spark the interest of new readers. So I'll be uploading my videos on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok and Instagram as well. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So I'll be reading extracts from both of these books. I'll try to upload at least one video per week. That is my biggest problem when it comes to making videos. I cannot be consistent. I find it very difficult to make videos. It takes me a long time to make one video. Today I just thought, let me just do it and let me just upload it. Even though it's not going to be perfect, doesn't matter. So I'm here to market my two books. Again, John Pierce and Subjective Bliss. And I'll be reading extracts. I'll be talking about some key scenes. I'll be talking about the characters as well. And I'll be also telling you a bit about my writing process, right? Especially for those two books, of course. I'm currently writing my third book, and hopefully it will be ready by the end of the year. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't have the same amount of time anymore. But, of course, I'm going to finish that third book. I'm going to do my best to finish that third book sooner than later. So let's dive into this right away. And that's the cover right there for those who've never seen this before. What are you willing to sacrifice for your dreams? John Pierce. Let's open the book. Greed is a funny thing. That's literally right there on the first page, in the middle of the page. Let's get to reading. This is a crime thriller, but it's so much more than that. We're going to read the first page, chapter 1, the interview. For some reason, those big gates were always left open. The idea, as one would most probably guess, was not to promote hospitality of any sort. It was in fact the contrary. There were two of them, to be more precise, intelligently merged to appear as one. From a distance, through the windows, one could glance at hints of a mortal being, walking across the rooms in the most lethargic manner. Everyone would wonder, but the courage to walk in and inquire was out of question. The warning signs were clear. Visitors were not allowed on those premises. Only one had dared in the past. Some say that he was buried inside the yard itself. Others claim that he was still alive, trapped inside this eerie space, owned and commanded by what people would qualify as a sinister being. Spooky. That day, the air felt strangely different. It was no less than an event. Passers-by would forcefully stop to witness, from a distance of course, this most rare and daring occurrence. A van was about to enter the yard. The sound of the wheels rolling over the tarmac, heard loud and clear enough to increase the apprehension of encountering the unknown, established a sort of cinematic suspenseful rendering, while subtly distracting the focus of the inhabitants from foreshadowing the dreadful consequences. The van stopped, and a young man stepped out of it. That will be it for today. I will not be reading more. Let's keep some suspense for the next video. I'll be talking more about those two mysterious characters in my next video. I'll continue the reading from there, and I will try to make sure that I'm not giving out any spoilers. So that was it. Now, for this first video, I've read only 1.5 pages. I'll be reading more, of course, in future videos. This was sort of an introduction. So before we continue here, don't forget to like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram as well. And that reminds me, I have to create my TikTok account. I haven't done that yet. Okay, now, before I end this video, I'd love to tell you a bit about the writing process for John Pierce, how this idea came about. The idea for John Pierce, initially, it was going to be a screenplay for a short movie that I was writing. And a friend of mine at the university suggested that, we were both into making videos, cinematic videos. So we thought, it would be a good idea to make a short movie. But at the time, we didn't have the resources, we didn't have the equipment. I told him that I had a script. There was no script. So I felt like, it was my responsibility. Now that I had, mentioned the script, I started writing John Pierce. The plot, the idea for the plot was there. But I had to actually sit down and think about every detail, and then learn about writing a screenplay, because writing a novel is one thing, writing a screenplay is another. So I learned a bit about writing screenplays, and I started writing John Pierce, and the title was John Pierce. I had written about maybe 4 or 5 pages, and I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to become a writer, and this is my opportunity. I have enough ideas in my head right now to plan a full book, and this has always been my dream, so why not? So I sat at my desk and I started jotting down those ideas, and I started planning the whole thing. I started creating the characters, giving them a personality. We never talked about that short movie thing again, because we both knew that it was going to be impossible to do that during our 3rd year at the university. That was a very hectic year. So I started writing the book in 2016, and I had to stop because of my studies. I was focusing more on that. And then later on in 2019, after I got married, I thought, I think it's time to fulfill that dream. I continued writing for about 6 to 7 months, I think. Then I had a first draft, and then there you go. From there, a second draft, and the final draft was ready by the end of 2019. And then the proofreading, formatting, editing, etc., publishing, that took some time, and eventually was published in 2020. And I've self-published. So for those of you who do not know what self-publishing is, check out my video on self-publishing versus traditional publishing. So this will be it, all right, for today. And again, don't forget to follow my page. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. that's all the support I need. I'm not going to ask you to buy my book right now. I am going to ask you to consider buying my book after having watched several of my videos and after you decide that this is worth it. So if you are a book reader, of course, you may buy the ebook or the paperback version. Paperback means the actual book, on Amazon. So thank you for watching this video, and I don't have an outro yet. Apparently it does matter whether you have an outro or not. I have an intro. Greetings. That's the intro. I don't have an outro. I'll work on that. Yeah. Thank you. Allez.